Hello and welcome to the Cryptocurrency News channel. We're going to talk about Goldman Sachs and their statement yesterday and how it stirred up crypto controversy. But if you want to join me in my live stream, check out the links in my description and comments below. And yeah, join me on my live stream. I stream every day except for Sundays and some holidays. So let's talk about Goldman Sachs. There's some leaked documents of them saying Bitcoin is not an asset. Now, what does Goldman Sachs really think? They're definitely into blockchain technology because remember, Goldman Sachs actually supported Circle, which did actually have Poloniex. Now they've divested Poloniex to Tron, but they actually are the creators of USDC. So even if they don't support cryptocurrency, they definitely support the technology because they themselves made a stablecoin, or at least of a subsidiary, they made a stablecoin that is still being used. And Goldman Sachs is interested in this technology. Remember, Goldman Sachs I think they also opened a Bitcoin trading desk, but that's because they might have been wanting to get more business. Or even though they don't see Bitcoin as an asset, they see it as a tradable commodity, which technically would be an asset unless they considered it security, which I think Bitcoin has been already ruled not a security. So technically, like, what they say really doesn't make sense. I don't know if they admitted it is an asset, but they don't think it should be one. I guess you can make that argument. But technically, like, their statement honestly doesn't make any sense because I do believe that some department in Goldman Sachs does actually own Bitcoin. Now, they could just be securing themselves for the future in case Bitcoin becomes big, which I think it actually will be. But their statement honestly doesn't make any sense. Now, if you look at, is Bitcoin actually an asset? If we define like what an asset is, in financial accounting, an asset is any resource owned by the business. Any tangible or intangible that can be owned or controlled to produce value and is held by a company to produce positive economic value. If you actually look at that definition, Bitcoin's definitely an asset. It can produce positive economic value. That's been proven by its massive growth over the last 10 years. And it's an asset is anything tangible or intangible. So just because Bitcoin is not tangible does not actually mean it is not an asset. And if Goldman Sachs doesn't like Bitcoin being an asset, it can take it up with the IRS because the IRS basically defines Bitcoin as property. And one of the definitions of an asset is property owned by a person or company, regarded as having value and available to meet debts, commitments, or legacies. So it's definitely, since it's defined as property by the IRS, and yes, there are people that actually accept Bitcoin as payment, although not everyone, it has to be defined as an asset, both by the US government because they want to tax you, and a lot of time, and a lot of like brokers, hedge funds, and banks actually do have it in their portfolio as an asset now. We know that Grayscale has it, and I'm sure Grayscale considers it an asset. I'm sure Paul Tudor considers it an asset. I'm betting a lot of other people that have it in their portfolios actually consider it an asset. And since it's an asset is actually defined by a property that's owned by a person or a company, that really defines Bitcoin as an asset. Now, it doesn't really define which asset class Bitcoin actually is, because technically, like, even if it's a security like stocks are an asset in your portfolio. So there's really nothing it can be besides an asset. So Goldman Sachs' statement, once again, doesn't make any sense. I don't really know what they're trying to define Bitcoin to be. Even if it's only for investment, it could be an investment asset or an investable asset, just like stocks. A bond I would consider an asset in my portfolio. So if you look at the whole asset category, there is basically zero. There's basically zero definitions that would actually include Bitcoin not being an asset because it is something that's intangible that actually has value. And if it's in your portfolio, it's definitely an asset. And the first definition is a useful or valuable thing, person, or quality. So the thing is, like, it's definitely a valuable thing. I would definitely define it as a thing. It doesn't have to be a tangible thing, but it is a thing, so it is definitely an asset. So Goldman Sachs is definitely wrong. And like I said, because Goldman Sachs, I believe, actually opened up like a Bitcoin OTC trading desk, at least some of their departments believe in the Bitcoin business and they believe it's going to thrive. So the thing is, like, them actually like poo-pooing Bitcoin, really, I don't think like their entire company actually agrees with it. And I don't know if they're just trying to keep investors away or something, but I actually do believe deep down they are getting ready for a digital revolution and they actually do see Bitcoin or other cryptocurrency assets as valuable in the future because they are sizing up part of their business to actually handle it. So that is the news for today. Let me know what you think, like and subscribe, and hit that bell notifications button. Thank you and have a nice day.